Welcome to Jags Drive Time with Ashlyn Sullivan, John Oehser, and Brian Sexton. Jags Drive Time starts right now.
I definitely think this defense is a player-friendly defense for sure, and that's one of the first things that the coaching staff, implemented when they came in. They said, the way to keep good players is to give them, simple tasks, allow them to play fast. So Coach Cullen has done a great job with that. But in terms of when the light came on, I knew as soon as I really got my opportunity to put my cleats on the ground, I would definitely gain confidence and just knowing where I belong.
Linebacker Shaq Quarterman, now a big part of what the depth of this defense can look like. Welcome into Jaguars Drive Time, a Thursday morning brought to you by the Fields Auto Group. Ashlyn Sullivan, Brian Sexton, John Oehser here with you. We are back on the practice field today after a nice little break, getting ready for week one against the Houston Texans. And we just heard from Shaq Quarterman. I don't want to talk too much about him because, Brian, I know.
Yep, I got a thought on him.
You're on fire for Shaq Quarterman today. You ready?
Today is Shaq Quarterman's show.
Might be a little bit strong, but I saw something I liked, and I heard something I liked in that interview too. So it's a new segment.
It is. So we'll just get into big things.
Yeah,
How
let's
about
do
that?
it.
I don't want to blow your cover. Big thing one is protecting Trevor. Major priority, obviously. A lot of changes throughout training camp of what this offensive line looked like due to injuries. Offensive line coach George Warhop believes the 5 starters will be back week one against Houston, and number one priority is protecting the quarterback.
I think that's more than just an O-line question. That's an offensive question. I think, protection starts with us in the backs, right? We got to do our part to protect the quarterback. He's got to do his part by getting the ball out of his hand. So it's more than just the O-line and how we go about it, or the backs or the tight ends with protections. There's no question we got to do our job, and I could really care less who's back there. We don't want the guy touched. So whether it's a rookie or a 15-year vet, right, we got to protect the quarterback. But then it also becomes offensively how you deal with it, right? Is the ball coming out, or is he holding the ball? Are we moving him? Are we doing whatever? So it's a collective deal to protect the quarterback. So, and I think the plan that we have for him, I think it is going to be pretty effective.
Big thing two. Hello, my name is blank. Wide receiver Tyrone Johnson coming from the waiver wire to Jacksonville, coming from the Los Angeles Chargers. 3 touchdowns last season. Known as a speedster, adding more speed to that offense, and as a whole, the Jaguars signing 5 wide receivers to the practice squad yesterday. A lot of those guys that they released coming back on the practice squad. Big thing 3, doubleheader. Nice little treat here for Jacksonville. The Saints and the Packers are coming to town the same day as the Jaguars play the Texans in Houston week 1 due to the hurricane. This game will be played in Jacksonville, which was big news yesterday, Brian, and I think there were talks of it. It became finalized, but this is pretty cool for people that live in Jacksonville that you now get 2 games in 1.
Yeah. I heard through the grapevine that Jerry Jones was not making it easy there financially for that game to go there.
Odd.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a businessman, right? But that Mr. Khan and Mark Lamping reached out. And so there's a lot of Packers fans, obviously, in the Southeast. I don't know what kind of a crowd they'll get, but I know I heard from a bunch of Packers fans yesterday. Where can I get tickets? When can I get tickets? One of them even sent me a text that said it's Christmas in September, right? Because they weren't planning on being able to see the Packers in person this year. So, smart move.
Yeah. I mean, I on a Jaguars show, I don't have that much to say about this game. I mean, it'll be good. I won't see it. I'll be either covering a game or on a plane.
Yep.
So, for the people who want to see this, I'm very happy for Christmas boy, your friend.
Yay. Go Jacksonville. Big thing 1, protecting Trevor. Of course, that's a big deal. Good news that the offensive line will be back intact week 1 against Houston. But that was the first time we've heard from offensive line coach George Warhop, and it was interesting when he was talking about the plug and play of the offensive line. Of course, there's a lot of depth, but it seems like when he's talking about these starting 5, these are the starting 5, and it's going to stay that way.
Well, those are the guys he trusts the most because he's had them together the last 2 years. He knows what they're capable of. And certainly when you talk to anybody on that side of the hall, they feel real good about the 3 guys inside. And you assume A.J. Cann is back. We know Brandon Linder will be back, and we expect that Andrew Norwell will be back. He told us yesterday that he thought that Juwan Taylor had fixed some of those things, right? I had mentioned a couple times he didn't look like he had the feet, but apparently he's fixed that. And we know what Cam Robinson is when he's healthy. So I mean, I guess it makes sense that the offensive line coach would go with what he knows with a rookie quarterback.
Well, this is an intriguing group because it's an unusual group in the NFL these days. It's 5 guys who will start a 3rd consecutive season together. It's by far the most tenured, continued group on the Jaguars. So when you break down the roster from a salary cap point of view, from an equity point of view, 8-year Brandon Linder, 8-year Andrew Norwell, 7-year A.J. Cann, 5th-year Cam Robinson. This is an experienced veteran group. They believe it's a strength. Well, in the way you structured your team, this should be the strength. Hasn't played to that point yet, but to me, if this group is as good as what they've invested in it, then this offense should be good. I feel like it's still a stay tuned on this group.
They kept them all together. That surprised a lot of people. And, it's interesting. So I had the rundown out last night, and one of my football-playing sons looked, and he goes, well, Big Thing 2 is not a big deal because they only signed one guy, Taven Johnson, the kid from San Diego.
Get in your room.
Well, what I said was what you missed is, right, what you missed is that the entire practice squad is composed of guys who were here, and that they only signed one guy is in and of itself a story. You thought maybe 6 or 7. I thought 4 for sure. This was a roster that was 1-15 last year. And yet there's not as much turnover, I think, as I expected. About a third of the roster, which is in a normal year. But for a team that was 1-15, I expected it to be closer to 50%.
And you had 4 guys claimed. Guys were going from this team to other teams. Some of that scheme fit. I mean, I feel like Quincy Williams never quite fit in what they were going to do,
right.
but could fit in what somebody else wants to do. Jake Luton,
you knew he was going to
fit, but you knew he was going to get picked.
You bet.
I misread Urban a little bit on, when was it, Tuesday. I kind of took initially the fact that he was concerned about 3 running backs and 5 wide receivers to mean, boy, they're going to be active. But then once I started breaking it down that night, it stood to reason they weren't going to go big on defense because they kept all these guys at the expense of offensive guys. So if they liked Doug Costin and cut him, which he said on Tuesday they would, you're probably not going to release other players on defense. So I misread that a little bit. The concern over 3 running backs and 5 wide receivers was alleviated when they could get guys back on the practice squad.
Divine Zigbo is a guy, right?
Yeah.
So I thought at first Urban meant, I'm concerned about 3, we got to go get more. I think he was just more concerned about, we've got to have depth. Now we've got depth on the practice squad. It's telling they clearly liked their team better than I think observers thought they would. And it was evidenced by only picking up one guy.
Well, I mean, how many times have we said that this team wasn't 1-15 bad, that there was some talent on this thing, but the inconsistency at quarterback, 3 different quarterbacks,
Almost beat the Packers, Green Bay.
None of whom played well last year, really cost this team. Well, as of right now, before they play a game, right, the sentiment that they weren't 1-15 bad is upheld. Now, if they come out here and only win 4 games this year, okay, then there's mistakes all over the place. But the reality of it is that this roster does have talent, and they like it, and they expect to get better performances from more consistent quarterback play. And that's not just the quarterback, how many yards he throws for or how many touchdowns he throws for. How about moving the chains and keeping the offense on the field and not exposing the defense, or giving the defense a lead to play with, as opposed to always having to stuff the run because the other team has a lead and they're not worried about it.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting season to follow, but the fact that there wasn't as much turnover is a telling sign.
Totally.
Before we move on, there's nothing I love more. I love offensive line coaches and offensive linemen. I mean, they're my favorite people in the locker room.
Society.
I don't know George as well as I've known some other offensive linemen, but every offensive line coach I've ever known will always tell you, hey, it ain't all us.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're right. So many people judge the offensive line by how many sacks did you allow. What George said right there is exactly right. It's the quarterback. It's him getting rid of the ball. It's the entire offense. A village protects the quarterback.
Yeah.
The offensive linemen take the blame.
Mm-hmm.
I was a young Cub reporter, and I heard a couple of offensive linemen talking about them being the Mushroom Society. Do you recall this? And I said, what's that? And it was Mike Mazer, God rest his soul, who said, because they treat us like mushrooms. They grow them in the dark and they shovel manure on them, right? Offensive line coaches are a crusty lot.
Yeah.
I like them. I really do. I'll never forget the look in Mazer's face when he says, and they shovel manure on them. It was fun.
He was a piece of work.
He
Good
was
man.
great.
I also feel like wide receivers are that as well. When DJ Chark was saying, well, I ran the route, and we had Coach Keenan McCardle saying, the wide receiver always runs the correct route.
Right.
It's not their fault. When we come back on Jaguars Drive Time, a new segment, I think, coming up here on Jaguars Drive Time.
Jags Drive Time is brought to you by TIAA Bank. Turn potential into progress. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This segment of Jaguars Drive Time has been brought to you by Jaguar Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, a member of the Fields Auto Group. Fields matters because you matter.
He had to step in for Cam in the preseason, right? We went and played New Orleans, and they had number 92 out there who's a pain in the derriere to deal with. And I thought he went out there and he handled his business really well with the guy. That's a high-end, pass-rushing NFL defensive end. Okay, so you go watch that game, and they were rolling that guy in and out through the first three quarters. And I thought for the most part, other than one snap, when you let him go speed the power on him, I thought Walker handled himself really well. So if you want to say, can he go play based off the preseason, go watch that game against a really good player in the NFL.
Everyone's favorite person to talk about, Walker Little. Offensive line coach George Warhop praising him. Welcome back to Jaguars Drive Time. It is time for a new segment, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and go first because, surprise, I picked Walker Little. Everyone's favorite person to talk about. I think there is a reason George Warhop is pumping the brakes on Walker Little. So before what we just heard, offensive line coach George Warhop was saying, there's some things that Walker Little can improve on in training camp and preseason. And I think there's a reason for that. I think we notably pump up Walker Little as much as we possibly can. We pave his way to Canton, but we have to remember that this guy is a rookie. And Coach Warhop was talking about how much he likes the starting five of the offensive line, which as of right now does not include Walker Little. There's a reason for that. I think everyone's hearing Walker Little's pushing Cam Robinson. Walker Little might be the starter week 2. Up to Coach Warhop? I don't think so.
It's interesting. As I was listening to George yesterday, I realized we're all around Baselli all the time, right? Sometimes we get irritated by him. We forget how great of a left tackle he was because he stepped right in as a rookie. And he didn't step in on opening day. He went in on a Sunday night against Green Bay and shut down Reggie White and Sean Jones and did not give up a sack. He
was hurt opening day, or he would have shut down that guy.
No, yeah, absolutely. Right. He didn't get in because he was
right.
injured. But what I'm saying is that from the very moment that he stepped on the field, he wasn't just the best offensive lineman. He was one of the best 2 or 3 players on the field. And Walker Little is extremely talented and a guy with a huge upside. But the George Warhop says, hey, rookie left tackles, this guy included, all struggled. Baselli didn't struggle. That tells you how great Baselli was.
Yeah. And that Walker Little's just not quite there yet.
It's going to take time.
Yep. So slow down. Pump the brakes, John.
I still anticipate the Walker Little, by virtue of injury, attrition, something will happen.
He'll be on
he's
the
on
field.
the field. this year. And I anticipate that by the time he gets on the field this year, he won't come off the field again. It'll be a more natural transition, which is sort of the kind of transition that coaches like in this situation. So I think this will all take care of itself.
Rare is the guy who can step on the field day one and anchor that pivotal position, but he's a guy who will be an anchor for a very long time once he gets out there.
Yep. All right, John.
All right, I think that Josh Allen is the Jaguars' most important story right now outside of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is, the big matzo ball hanging out there, but
Matzo ball.
Josh Allen is important because of this. I love Josh Allen. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. I think he has a chance to be a game-changing, franchise-defining defensive player. And if you've got that on both sides of the ball, that's really rare. Most teams who have franchise quarterback don't have elite Von Miller defensive guy. But he hasn't really been that guy yet.
No.
And a lot of what I said is faith because I see the guy in practice every day. I hear our coaches talk about him. I see how he is. I see how he prepares. Everything's there. But the unknown is, can he carry the defense guy? I think he can. He hasn't yet. If he does that, the team and the defense are dramatically better. He hasn't done it yet. So to me, that's the key for this season.
I don't want to discount what he did as a rookie, but he did it with Calais Campbell on the other side and Yannick Ngakoue on the other side. He made great plays with 10.5 sacks, which was the most by all rookies that year, and a Jaguars rookie record, obviously. Last year, when the focus was on him before he got injured, he struggled, right, to be able to create. Well, there's more talent there this year, so he has to be, like Von Miller, the guy who can make it happen on his own.
The team stopping the run better should, by definition, help him be what he is. Last year, I sort of thought a lot of the reason that he wasn't what we thought he was because of that and then the injury. If they're as good against the run and other teams are in obvious passing situations, then Josh Allen must be an 8 or 9 sack guy.
I would agree. And I think he's capable of being that and more. He's that talented. I think that I really like Shaq Quarterman in Joe Cullen's defense, right? At least this segment makes you giggle. Because I like the way on first and second down, right? I want to tell you who I think he is rather than say, well, he's not Fred Warner. He's not Luke Kuechly or Devin White.
I'll tell you exactly who he is. Shaq Quarterman.
Well, that's true. And,
Good point.
And a local boy at that. But he reminds me of two guys that played in that 3-4, and the hallmark 3-4 to me was the Steelers. He's not as big as Levon Kirkland, but he runs to the hole like Levon Kirkland. And when he gets there, he hits like Earl Holmes, the former Florida A&M linebacker. He's a guy, especially in run situations. And again, I'm figuring by injury and attrition, he's going to be on the field in the scheme at some point. A 3-4 scheme is a linebacker-intensive scheme they play. And I think Shaq Quarterman fits this one to a T. And listening to him yesterday, his mindset, his mentality, his approach to the game, it's a prototypical 3-4 linebacker. He's not going to be a 10-sack guy like a Fred Warner. He's not going to be an interception, pick-6 guy. But, man, is he going to be a factor at some point in helping this team stop the run? I think.
I hope he is because
I think.
He is a guy who fans will love if he is good.
Kid.
Very likable.
He's a terrific guy. He's going to succeed in something in life.
You bet.
I hope what he does for the next 5 or 6 years is succeed as a Jaguars inside linebacker.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance to really be a nice player in this scheme.
Totally agree. When we come back on Jaguars Drive Time, he will, he won't, he might on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle, and Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And what's better than saving up to $5,000 in closing costs when you buy or refinance a home? With a ViStar no closing costs mortgage, you'll get a great rate, no hidden fees, and like the name says, no closing costs up to $5,000. If you believe saving money is better, join ViStar. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Offer not available on VA and FHA mortgages. For more information, visit vistarcu.org.
Move day is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Move Day crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and moving efficiency, it's no wonder why Move Day is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Track your goods online and get updated play-by-plays throughout your move process. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, they're here to help you on moving day. Call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit movedaymovers.com.
Is that what you did for them? No.
We're back, Jaguars Drive Time. It's time for He Will, He Won't, He Might, brought to you by Move Day.
Is that my cue?
It is.
It's so subtle on your part.
I just
sort of
lobbied it up
Here
to
you. So I went with Brandon Linder. He will return on Sunday and stabilize the offensive line. I mean, he's a really good player, and he's a guy who, because of his inability to stay on the field every game, and because of this team's inconsistency at quarterback the last couple of years, I don't think he's gotten the credit that he deserves. But he's a guy who can really dictate the way an offensive line plays, and he's a consummate pro. St. Thomas Aquinas product. Got to have at least one of those people in the building, right?
Go Raiders.
There you go. He won't stay healthy the whole season. I mean, older players generally don't. And only once in his 8-year career has he played all 16 games, and that was 2019. And I find that amazing. He might be the most important player on that offensive line. We talk all the time about the tackles and protecting the quarterback, but their ability to help this rookie quarterback in 2021 is going to be based in the running game. Urban Meyer spent a lot of time talking to Joe Burrow, last year's #1 pick. And he said, you got to give him the running game so that play action works. You have to be able to run. He's the key to being able to run. So he might be the most important player on the offense other than Trevor Lawrence.
I'm sure he would love to hear that. You know what,
But
Brandon?
you know what he'd say?
Yeah, whatever.
Which I love. He's a grouchy old offensive lineman.
He'd say no comment.
Yeah,
I went with C.J. Henderson. He will be the starter, which was in doubt 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Very much so.
And he's earned it. And it's an impressive story considering 8 days missed with COVID, I think, at the very start. And then there's a personal day. There was a lot of noise swirling around him. Well, guess what? He is an extremely talented player. It's easy to see watching him. It's easy to forget sometimes that he was the number 9 overall pick, which number 9 overall pick with corner means you are the best. It also means that if you had been an offensive lineman or a quarterback, you're probably going top 3.
You bet.
He's that level talent.
And you've said that consistently, which is why I'm not surprised that you think he's the starter, because he's that good.
Well, if he's not, then you're asking for trouble. Yeah. So he won't be traded, and I get why that was a thing. I get why there were reports. I even get why the Jaguars may have been open to the idea at some point. And before I get to he might, no, I'll go this.
Go ahead.
I'll change gears. He might be the first example we have of Urban Meyer really impacting something personnel-wise. And that's silly because he impacts everything personnel-wise. But it was clear that Urban Meyer, from the way he coached CJ on the field a couple of times, really took an interest in this and has tried to get to CJ and get him right. You know, so credit to Urban Meyer for that. They're so far watching CJ since the beginning of training camp, you would not have known that he was out.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Credit to him. And I think he and Josh Allen are critical pieces of this team. If they're as good as they ought to be, all of a sudden this defense has a chance to go from being very bad last year to being very good. Most teams don't have premier corner, premier pass rusher, premier linebacker.
I was about to say, add
Miles
Jack in there too.
That's some extreme talent on all levels. No reason you shouldn't be able to build around that.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And it's true credit to Coach Meyer, because how many times have we seen on Twitter and we've seen the drama unfolding and we're thinking, oh, this is not going to be good. This is going to end up in a trade. This is just, there's no way this is going to come back.
And it's quieted significantly in 3 weeks. So, again, credit to Coach Meyer.
Absolutely. All right, my he will, he won't, he might is offensive coordinator Darrell Bevel. Going a little coaching here. He will be relieved that he doesn't have to talk about a quarterback competition anymore in press conferences. And now when we speak to him, he can talk about Trevor Lawrence being the starting quarterback. There was always a caveat to that, and he kind of just looked at him like, come on, coach. But he had to mention it. He will be relieved over this. He won't panic. A little blunt that the blame, in quotations, preseason blame, was being put on him the first 2 weeks for an offense not working, an offense not clicking, it's not going quick enough, and everyone was saying, okay, well, what's going on with the play calling in preseason? He won't panic because now all of a sudden he's a hero after the third preseason game in preseason. He might have to rip out a big portion of this playbook with no Travis Etienne, who will be having surgery today, reported, and missed about 4 months is the report date. So good luck to Travis Day on his surgery date, but it's no secret that Darrell Bevel had to probably rip a large portion of the binder out that was credited to Travis Etienne's play calling.
Hey, how many spots are left in the practice squad? 2 or 3?
3.
They got to get a quarterback in here. This would be interesting. I mean,
where are you going with this?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm really not going anywhere except to say this is why I was surprised that Jake Luton was released, because now you only have 2 quarterbacks. Because I didn't think you'd be able to get him back. You can't do it for 2 reasons. One, you need a scout team quarterback, and that's generally what the practice squad quarterback does. But the other thing is you need one for COVID purposes.
You going with former tight end?
No.
Is that where you're going with this?
No. I'm just saying it'll be interesting to see. Clearly, they're not finished with the roster, and we talked yesterday about how they could go up to Tuesday with this roster. Look, it'll be interesting to see who the quarterback is. You can't not have a third quarterback.
No, that's true. And I thought when Jake Luton was released, I thought, oh, there's no way he makes it. And if they thought, oh, he's going to make it through waivers, I thought, no way.
Well, there's somebody they like. I mean, there's somebody that they've got their eye on, or they're being patient, or they're talking about trade, or whatever. Who knows? They've got extra 6-round picks now, but they've got to have somebody.
Yeah,
and it's a key piece, and we got to mention that.
Tight end, tight end, former tight end.
All right, so Darrell Bevel might have a busy week ahead because he's going to have to be looking at quarterbacks.
I'm sure he's already
Thank you for the
you bet.
bullet point there. When we come back, some closing thoughts here on Jaguars Drive Time. Move Day is Jacksonville's most dependable and caring local moving company. Move Day is proud to be the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. To get a free instant quote, call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit movedaymovers.com.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
We're back, Jaguars Drive Time, for some closing thoughts here on a Thursday morning. The days blend together.
Well, it's It's
We're
Labor
in
Day
it.
weekend. Yeah. So
We're
a
in
lot
it.
of people are already in Friday mode.
Not quite yet, but I will get there.
Soon.
DJ Chark, Tim Walton, and Josh Lambo speak to the media today at lunchtime. You can watch that on Jaguars.com/live. Stay tuned for Jaguars Happy Hour this afternoon. Jaguars All Access tonight, and we will be back next week, game week, regular season, ready to go here on Jaguars Drive Time.